How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Loud Times Review Show. I'm your host, James Loud, and we're going to be talking about crutches and tips today. One of my favorite things to talk about in the whole world is tips. There's so many different options. It's so subjective to the individual, and you really can't go wrong. Now, before we get into all the options, I want to tell you a little origin story about tips. I started using tips in 2012 in Amsterdam. My good friend Abba got me into rolling. He saw my joints. He saw my American joints. He didn't like them. And he said, you know what? I need to show you how to roll. So we're going to go into how I learned how to roll originally. I'm going to show you that tech. Then we're going to dive into glass tips. Be Real in 2014 was partying with Exhibit at Greenhouse Seed Company, and I had the privy of going to this event, and we were hanging out, and I saw these prototypes, and literally funky field tips changed the game. You see all these different glass manufacturers, you see bamboo, you see wood, all these things, and it kind of evolved out of that funky field tip first generation. Okay, why do we use a crutch? First of all, you have airflow control, particulate filtration. You can control the temperature, you can control the burn, and you can look really cool. So let's talk about the OG crutches. The OG crutches would be the cardboard. That was the first crutch that I ever saw, and there's several different ways to do it. We're gonna go into that right now. I wanna talk about Blazy Susans for a moment. These guys are great. They make environmentally friendly cardboard tips, pink and purple, that support breast cancer, and they support mental health and suicide awareness. Now I'm going to show you how to use a cardboard tip with these Blazy Susans. So with Blazy Susans, there's several ways to do it. You can use one or two, depending on the size of your joint. I personally like the double, and we do the accordion style. So you just go back and forth right here. It's actually fast, efficient, and easy. Now, if you don't have perforation marks on your papers, you can just fold it your own way and then try to be careful how you're doing it. So you do the accordion right there, back and forth. You take this, now you've got your crutch, okay? That crutch can either be rolled with paper or you can actually stuff it into a tube right here, right? And what that does is it'll regulate your airflow. So this is the yin-yang, and how you do the yin-yang is you start it off with a pinch here, you bend it on itself, you go around, and this allows for maximum airflow and it catches the most amount of particulate. Really basic, really easy, really fast, anybody can do it. Raw crutches are the original. They've been around for long over a decade. They can be found at almost every smoke shop in the world. Then the next style we're going to do is the one I don't have a name for. So we're going to do the lazy accordion, which is back and forth. And what you do is you don't want to pinch the ends. You want to hold it in the middle. You're just going to go back and forth. Like that. Another great way to do it. Pro tip, roll your crutches first. Don't wait until you already have your flour in your paper to do the crutch. Did I mention you can rip the rolling paper pack and make a crutch with the cardboard? Rotini Tech. Why use pasta? For one thing, it's economical. A 1 pound bag of rotini can be purchased for $1 or less. With glass tips, there's so many different options. Earlier, I talked about the funky field tip, these hand-blown custom tips from Be Real. Funky field tips are colorful, reusable glass crutches originally popularized by Be Real of Cypress Hill. Designed for comfort and style, they reduce harshness, block ash and resin, and add a personal flair to each roll. small, portable, and collectible. They're both functional and fun. Early prototypes were shared in Amsterdam around 2014, making them part of the modern rolling culture history. There's so many options with glass tips. There's 50 different companies making different glass tips. There's guys white labeling glass tips. John Carlos in his hemp wrap uses these tips. I love these tips. They catch just enough of the particulate and give you a good airflow that you don't actually need a paper tip on the inside. Some of the glass tips, they don't work quite as good. So you're gonna wanna take and regulate your airflow with a piece of paper. So you can take that crutch, put it in here, like this. And what that does is it'll actually regulate the airflow a little bit, and that paper will help keep the joint cool while you're smoking. So the beauty of glass is they can be reused. You can soak them in alcohol and use them 100 more times, maybe even 1,000 more times before you have to throw them away. You're gonna lose them or they're gonna break before they go bad. So next we're gonna talk about the hybrid hack. Companies like Yotips, they make an amazing hybrid hack, which is a glass tip with a paper insert. And what that does is it's a straight tube. You have the paper to regulate airflow, and it also catches all that particulate. Rip tips are the newest, latest, and greatest hot trend to hit the market. They have a spiral tip. They have perforation holes that control the airflow. Nothing needs to be done. They work great. They're awesome for hash holes. Check them out. Rip tip glass crutches are reusable borosilicate glass filter tips designed to enhance airflow, cool the smoke, and reduce resin and ash from entering the mouth. They offer a clean, smooth draw and can be used alone or with a rolling paper inside. They're easy to clean, stylish, they're durable, they're an eco-conscious alternative to paper tips. So next we're going to be talking about wood and bamboo. Natural, tactile, and sustainable. Bamboo and wood crutches give an earthy, crafted feel. I use Yotips. I love their different options. I've been using them for over a year. They make them in so many different sizes. They got these huge party sizes. If you're going to be partying with a lot of people, most people won't use this size for personal consumption. So I prefer wood and bamboo. That's my go-to. But I prefer the 11 and 12, putting my own Blazy Susans. Yotips. Wood models are made from solid birch, available in fluted styles, hollow, or pre-filtered with paper tips. Sizes range from 8.5 millimeter to 23.5 millimeter outer diameter. The glass are available in 11 and 13 millimeter. Right now, only the 11 millimeter is offered with the filter. 13 millimeter version 2 with filter is coming soon. A hollow style tube design allows for the roller to tailor their own airflow by creating a shell or house of filter. This gives the roller the ability to fine-tune their airflow by hand, folding their own paper crutches. Midnights have holes in them that regulate airflow so you don't need paper. Midnight smoking built-in 7-hole wood filters have wood filter ends that diffuse heat for a cooler inhale. No need for cardboard or corn husk inserts. That means no cardboard taste or risk of mold in corn husk. Saves time and money for commercial rolling purposes. Maximum airflow, less run. The flat end makes it for a better surface to pack up against. All natural hardwood construction. They're biodegradable material, lightweight design, classy style. They're also available in other hardwood types such as rosewood, black walnut, maple, and more. Custom branding is also available. Wood tips are one and done. You throw them away after each use. They are biodegradable, but they are not as sustainable as glass. Roll buddies come in bamboo or birch. Unlike competitors' birch, their birch are non-gloss coated and finished with the same natural carnauba wax used for bamboo tips, ensuring a smooth, clean feel with no heavy varnish taste. This makes them perfect for smokers who appreciate natural wood aesthetic with optimal heat retention and airflow. Both of their tip lines are crafted to enhance the smoking experience, offer better heat retention, smoother airflow, and satisfying pull without any splinter or heavy varnish taste. The next thing we're going to talk about is Yotips. These guys have their own thing going. They're in their own lane. The Yotips actually have tips for your tips. Post-COVID, people are so much more concerned about health and about passing around germs. So these Yotips are great because you can actually take them, put them in and take a good hit. They have 2 different sizes, so you can use their tips with the tips, and then each person can get their own Yotip, and you guys won't be spreading the cooties around. Yotips are slim, wooden, personal mouthpieces that twist lock into cones or joints. They provide a superior draw, promote hygiene by preventing lip contact sharing, and fit various sizes. They work by inserting and giving a quarter turn to hold securely, making smoking smoother and cleaner. The latest thing to hit the scene in crutches and rolling tips are these 3D printed ones. Lots of different companies are making them. These are made by Third Dimension. These are really cool. They're made from food grade plastic. They're supposed to be okay to smoke. I haven't seen the science either way. They look really cool. You can get custom shapes, colors, and sizes. Love it. These are disposable. They're low cost. They're easy to use. They have a good grip for rolling. I'm still on the fence about 3D, but I like the fact that you can get them custom colors and custom designs. So the elephant in the room that we've all been waiting to hear about are the pre-rolled cones. Raw makes some good ones. If you don't know how to roll joints, they already come with crutches. They're easy to roll. You just grind your stuff up and stuff them in the paper. Super simple. So next we're going to talk about how to set up the perfect rolling station. So you guys are going to need a good rolling tray to start out with. I've been using this SF Canna rolling tray for over 2 years, had great success. It's traveled around the world with me. Next thing you're going to need is a grinder. I use this flour mill with the ultra fine screen. I double grind it. I love this thing. Next, we should probably get some papers together. I like the Moscate or the Elements. Moscate are reverse rolled, easy to use. Elements are rice papers. They're ultra wide, ultra thin, and amazing. Let's get some Blazy Susans and some Organotips in the mix. I like Organotips 12 millimeter for hash holes, 11 millimeter for joints. I got the ultimate pro tip for you guys. Next thing we're going to need is we're going to need a centrifuge holder that you can hold your Organotips in, your 11 millimeters, and then you can fill your papers. This is a great way of doing it at scale. Next thing we're going to need a poker. That poker is used to poke the flour in, keep the joint extremely straight, and then help tie it at the top. If you're doing hash holes, you're probably going to want to use a hot knife to help control the size of the slug or worm that you put in. Cutting the joint, I use these friskers. I love scissors. These friskers work great. They've been in my arsenal for 20 years. Now, you've got a couple different options. You can either lick your joint, you can use glue gar, which works great, or the Press Club has an ISO station. I've converted it into a water station for Q-tips for your rolling. That way you don't have to lick it. You can keep your joints hygiene. I don't lick it. ISO station, so I can keep the joints hygienically safe and amazing. Next thing you need, you're going to need some tubes to put your joint in. Probably a Sharpie, boom. Get that going so you can write down what flavor you rolled up. And then of course you're going to need a torch lighter. Let's set this up as I would set it up for myself. Okay. So what tip is right for you? I don't know the answer to that. Do you like big joints? Maybe you're gonna like Organotips or the Yotips with their bigger sizes. Do you like 11, 12 like myself? I prefer Organotip in 11 and 12 millimeter, but there's so many different options. You can go with glass, you can go with bamboo, you can get wood, you can go with these 3D printed from Third Dimension. We've got so many different products today, so many good products. I love them all. We got Blazy Susans, we got Raw, we got these ones. I never even heard of these before last week. Man, Yotips, they've been around a while. Man, Midnight, these guys are cool. I love it. They come with a roller with their starter kit. There's just so many different options. Love my Element papers, love my Raw tips, love my Blazy Susan tips. I love glass, I love it all. It's just depending on the day. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to let us know in the chat your favorite tips. If you're interested in getting great products from today's episodes, we're sending samples in the mail, so make sure to email podcast@JamesLoudGenetics, title it Samples for Me. Let us know. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you next Wednesday. Throwing stuff at the screen. More Blazy Susans coming in. Well, let's see if you can catch this one. How about the bigger tip? Ooh, right at the screen. Boom. You're gonna have to set this all up over just like it was. Okay, like a ninja throwing star. It's way off. Okay, what else can we throw? Okay, we're gonna throw it like a ninja. Round 2. Dude, that was a badass one. Good job, guys. Oh yeah, here, we're gonna flip the joint. Tip got separated, that was amazing. Okay.